You're welcome once again to Infosynthesis. In today's episode, we will be looking at something that is very informative and will be educative. I am Mosondon Bono, and with me in the studio today is Dr. Ugo Emode.
Thank you very much, moderator.
You're welcome to Infosynthesis.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Ugo Emode is a medical doctor of repute and also a consultant. And he will be taking us through this part of understanding sexual casualties. Doctor, could you please let us into what sexual casualty really is?
All right, thank you very much, moderator. Well, before I move into the topic of sexual casualties, it would also be good to talk briefly on the anatomy of the female lady, so as to now, for the audience to now actually know the casualties involved during pregnancy.
Okay.
Now, the anatomy of a female pregnant woman is so complicated than that of an unpregnant lady. Now, let's look at the key factors there. When a woman is pregnant, there are certain tissues which I am going to mention here that the audience should know when I'm explaining it medically.
Okay.
Now, things like the placenta is like a kind of a host of a cord or tissue or cells that connect the baby to the mother through the umbilicus. In fact, the baby connects to the mother, from the umbilicus of the baby to the placenta of the woman. Now, I have things like the amniotic fluid or the amniotic sac. That the baby is battered, that is the fetus growing, is within a fluid-like cavity, that is enveloped by what we call the amniotic sac. Of course, we have what we call the embryos. These are the things I may be explaining. These embryos are like balls of cells arising from or as a result of fertilized egg that eventually will now form the human being. Of course, we know the semen, the sperm, and the eggs. I think that's it.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. One of the casualties that may result as a result of these is conjoined twins. And this is a phenomenon that most people know about. So could you please let us know what could actually cause, conjoined twins?
All right. Conjoined twins, from the name conjoined, are a kind of twins, that they kind of have a attachment, on their body, even when they have the same DNA. You understand?
Yeah.
So they are kind of twins, that have that share the same DNA, but most times they are attached somewhere in the body. And the conjoint can occur at different points. It could be at the level of the torso, it could be at the level of the neck, it could be at the level of the abdomen, the belly. It could be even at the cephalocephalic region as the head region. Yeah. So depending on the site of the joining, the term conjoined means they are sharing a part of the body.
Dr. Ugo, just for the benefit of our audience, could you please, in brief, explain what sexual casualties really are?
All right, thank you very much, moderators. The term sexual casualty means a whole lot when it regards to sex. Now, the casualties could be as a result of conjoined twins, could be as a result of diseases associated, during sex. It could also be due to deformities. Even the so-called twins, like we have the fraternal twins, we have the identical, the non-identical. Most of them are casualties involved in sexual acts. And you have diseases such as normal sexually transmitted diseases like chlamydia infections, gonorrhea, syphilis. They are all sexual casualties.
Wow, thank you very much, Doctor. Now, while you were talking, you did mention about conjoined twins and all that. I think sometimes people may also look at things like those who have Down syndrome, Turner syndrome. Sometimes in some regions of the world, it is seen as a spiritual problem.
Yes.
So could you please help us? What could be the causes of things like conjoined twins, Down syndrome, Turner syndrome, and all the likes?
Okay, thank you very much. Now, I'll take them one after the other in a very precise form.
Yes, sir.
Now, in conjoined twins, we have two offsprings, two individuals that may or may not share the same placenta, but they are attached, like I said earlier, either at the torso or a part of the body, like at the head region, or it could be attached at the abdominal region, it could be attached to the peritoneal region, they could also be attached at the back. And sometimes, and most times, they share a common feature. Like most times, they could share the same leg, different hands, one head. So it depends on the level of attachment.
Okay.
So that's generally the conjoined twins.
Okay.
Then we have other ones, which I'll briefly talk now, but I will explain later.
Okay.
We have other ones like twins. Now, depending on the type of twins, you have non-identical twins. We have identical twins, and we have fraternal twins.
Okay.
You understand? So I will talk them one after the other as the time goes on. Okay. So that's the aspect of twins. They will have diseases associated with sexual casualties. Things like gonorrhea, things like syphilis, things like trichomonas vaginalis infection, things like chlamydia infections. Most of them are sexually transmitted diseases. So these are sexual casualties. Sometimes too, we may also have some hereditary diseases associated with all this, but I wouldn't want to go deep into for the sake of our audience.
Okay, so thank you very much, Doc, for your brief explanation there. But I'm particularly interested when you just mentioned about twins, for instance. Yes, one could easily agree things like Down syndrome and Turner syndrome to be a clear case of casualties. But then, how are twins a sexual casualty?
Okay, thank you very much. Naturally, the term twin means two offsprings, arising from the same pregnancy. Two offsprings arising from the same pregnancy. Now, we call them sexual casualty because these same twins can be non-identical.
Okay.
They could be identical and they could be fraternal. Now, please, if you can allow me like a few minutes, I'll explain them better.
Please, sir. Now,
the term twin can be broadly divided into two major classes. Two major classes. Okay. You have the monozygotic twins.
Monozygotic twins.
Yes, and the dizygotic twins.
Okay.
I'll take them one after the other. Now, depending on the time of conception, they can be either monozygotic or dizygotic, depending on the time during conception, during the fertilization. Now, let me take them one after the other. Let me start with dizygotic. The dizygotic twins are, from the word di means there are two zygotes.
Okay.
Naturally in an ovulating woman, ovulation occurs 14 days or 2 weeks approximately from the first day of menstrual flow. She sees ovulation. And during ovulation in a young lady, either an egg or two can come from either of the ovaries. You understand? Now, when two eggs are released at the same time and two sperms from the male counterparts fertilizes them, what you're seeing is that they are fertilized, two zygotes are formed. Two fertilized eggs are called two zygotes. Now, the two zygotes will now split into two embryos. I come again. When an ovulating woman releases two eggs instead of one, and the two eggs are fertilized by two different sperms, they now form two fertilized eggs. And these two fertilized eggs will eventually split into two embryos. Now, what is telling us here is that they have genetically unidentical materials. Their DNA are separate. Their amniotic fluid are separate, sac are separate, their placenta are separate. You understand? And eventually, they will now form twins who are genetically, not resembling each other. They are genetically unidentical. They have different DNA, they have different placenta, they have different amniotic sac. In fact, they are sharing the same womb, but different things altogether.
How can this be possible?
Yes, it is possible because naturally, when a fertilized egg is there. It shares a placenta and the same amniotic sac, the thing that envelops it.
Okay.
But when these eggs are coming, and they are coming, are being fertilized by two different sperms, they are having different things.
By two different sperms?
Yeah, two different sperms.
That is, two different from how? From the same man?
Okay, now, that is a story again. I have to open up again, please.
Please.
Yes.
I'm getting lost here, actually.
Yes. Now, it is very important, and medically it has been known and proven that a partner can conceive the wife, and two partners can also conceive a wife.
Two partners can conceive a wife?
Yes. Let me throw a little light on it. Mrs. A makes the partner at, say, in the morning hours, and the man donates sperm. Remember, an egg survives 24 hours, and while a sperm survives 2 to 3 days, in quotes. Now, she carries this sperm inside her body. And maybe 3-4 hours later, she meets Mr. B, C, and D. And they all also donate their own sperms. At the end of the day, the two sperms are coming from two different donors, fertilizing two different eggs coming from the woman, having different placenta, different amniotic sac. When they have the same placenta, they are called dichromic fetus. And when they have different amniotic sac, they call it dichromic fetus. Now, what it means is that there are two DNAs from different human beings inside the same womb.
Sir, please, you're moving too fast. This is, what kind of twins are this one particularly?
They are called fraternal twins.
Fraternal twins.
Fraternal, because they are called dizygotic. Dizygotic means two eggs being fertilized by two different sperms with different DNAs. So the implication is that they have different genetic materials.
So, please, sir, you're trying to say that there are families that have twins, but the twins are from different fathers.
Yes. Now, I may shock you when we go to Genesis chapter 25, verse 23. Esau and Jacob.
And Jacob.
Yes, I remember. Jacob I love. Esau I love. And the other one, just like that. So let me say that.
You're saying that Esau and Jacob are from different fathers?
It is possible because, in dizygotic or fraternal twins, they may look alike, they may not even look alike. They are like normal siblings with 50% genetic materials. Genetic material from Mr. A, genetic material from Mr. B. So they may not have complete genetic material. They have 50-50 from different areas.
So physically they look different?
Yeah, physically.
So you mean to say that some of the twins that look different physically, both in behavior and appearance, are from different fathers?
Yes, it's possible. That is why most men, sorry I'm saying this, have to be careful. Most times we get this result from the DNA test. Where you see
twins, different DNA.
Where you say, where you see the same twins,
blood of
two
God,
offspring, sharing the same womb with different placenta, different amniotic sac, but different DNAs from different people. That is why we can liken it to be called two nations in one womb.
Two nations in one womb.
Yes.
You're also quoting the Bible again.
Yeah, quoting the Bible because the two nations are two nations with different placenta, different amniotic sac. That's why they are called dizygotic.
And different fathers.
Different fathers. And when eventually they are being given birth to, the man or the partner believes his DNA is complete there, where they are 50-50. Either from him or from different fathers. And a lot of people don't know about this in their lifetime.
I'm sweating here, seriously. So, and you mean the fraternal twins, are they also different from non-identical twins?
Yes, in a way.
Okay, in a way.
In a way, they are the same. They are, like I said earlier in my speech, they are like regular siblings. Regular twins.
Okay, siblings. Regular siblings. Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
Different placenta, different amniotic sac, different DNA, and they look different phenotypically, different appearance.
But it's the same semen, the same sperm.
Yes.
But they're not identical.
If they're not identical, yes. In non-identical, it's almost like fraternal. Just that maybe one father or one partner may be responsible
May be responsible.
Yes.
You're using the word may. That's conditional.
And when they are, and when the man is the sole donor of the non-identical, the DNA are the same. Please. The only thing difference is that they will have different placenta, different amniotic sac. But in fraternal, if a different man is there, the DNA are not the same. Have you seen the difference between non-identical and fraternal? They look alike like normal, regular siblings. You understand? But in non-identical, the DNA is always the same because it's from the father.
This is a
in fraternal,
yes.
They have 50%.
This is a real casualty you're talking about here.
These are essential casualties.
But sorry, please, sir, before we move ahead, does the woman, the mother that bear these children, will she know that she is carrying two nations when she finally gives birth to them?
Most times they call it Obanjo, or they call it Aboro in Igbo language, or sometimes they call it, they will change. But most times they don't. I may also advise you that there are also complications associated with twins.
Okay.
Yes. Averagely, most women in Nigeria, if you ask them once they enter the clinic, they tell you, I want to give birth to twins. But I'm here to tell you that most times there are also complications associated with twins.
Okay.
Ranging from twin to twin transfusion.
Twin to twin transfusion. Okay.
Blood transfusion. To certain diseases, we call them chromosomal aberrations or abnormalities.
Okay. So can you please, you're really going too technical here.
What?
For the benefit of our audience, what do you mean by that? You mean twin to twin transfusion? You mean that a twin cannot donate blood or fluid to his or her twin?
In most cases,
Okay.
where it's rare, it's 50-50. Because what I mean by twin to twin transfusion is sometimes there are some genetical errors associated with that. You see, if I have to go into the hematology of that, make the hematology of the medicine, they are what we call the prototypes, they call it the halotypes, blood halotypes or prototypes. So these are complicated issues, but it's one of the complications, the twin to twin transfusions. Again, most times what do they call it again? The genetic variations are not too strong when compared to non-identical twins that are not fraternal.
Wow. Dr. Go, you're really, I don't know what to say, sincerely. I'm trying to wrap my head around this whole thing. It's really eye-opening though, and I think our viewers are actually, enjoying what you're saying here. Most of them are really, actually new, to me. But again, moving ahead, you also did mention that there are some diseases that are part of sexual casualties. Now, these diseases, do they have any effect on the offspring or newborn babies when they are given birth to?
Yes.
Okay.
You see, unfortunately enough, most of the STDs that encountered during sexual acts have pronounced effects on the offspring, such as syphilis. At the point of birth, and the baby, is infected with disease syphilis.
Okay, the baby can be infected with syphilis.
Yes, it most times affects the membranes of the eye, especially the sclera, the outermost part of the eye, which, if not properly and earlier removed, could lead to partial blindness. It's like a waterproof membrane. Syphilis, you have things like gonorrhea. You have even things like HIV/AIDS. They're good enough with good medical scientific research. The doctors have been able to combat the area of the HIV. A mother can have HIV and may not be transfused to the baby. Apart from other factors, some good immune system, drugs, antibodies, immunoglobulins, all those things affect or help the baby.
So, which means some babies that have partial blindness is as a result of the
STDs,
the
sexually
STDs,
transmitted diseases.
okay, that their mothers have.
So that chlamydia infections, gonorrhea, syphilis, trichomonas vaginalis, name it. Most of these bacterial infections.
So, what about mothers, maybe lactating mothers who drink and smoke? Does it also have any effect on their?
Okay,
their offspring?
very good question. When you are preterm means before giving birth,
Okay, before giving birth.
especially from the second trimester, from 3 to 6 months to the 9 months. It's worthy to note that they should abscond from certain drugs like tetracyclines, cephalosporins, first and second generation cephalosporins, major antibiotics, especially that tetracycline. Most time when consumed in excess, especially at the time of second trimester from 3, 4, 5, 6 months, it gives a final mark to the unborn baby. Most time their teeth becomes black or yellowish in condition. Sometimes they have yellowish of the sclera of the eye, the ones.
You mean the newborn?
Yeah, the newborn, the ones we call bilirubin or jaundice. So a lot of diseases are associated with, especially when from 3, 4, 5 months, second trimester, because those things affect the membrane of the baby. Even if the pregnant woman is not well nourished, most times it also affects the brain cells. Yes, you see a situation where the brain, the baby that is being given birth to has, low deformation of the brain, the nerve cells. So adequate nutrient, folic acid, and essential dyes are necessary, and low alcohol consumption, no cigarette smoking, so that you don't form, perforated lungs.
Oh. I'm really enjoying myself here, sincerely.
But I didn't have to. I didn't talk much on the identical twins. Which
Okay.
you didn't ask.
Okay.
Because we talked about the fraternal twins. We talked about the non-identical twins. Now, it's also worthy to know that we have what we call the identical twins.
Okay, sir.
See, the difference between the identical twins and the non-identical or fraternal is that, remember, as a recap, identical, non-identical, and fraternal are almost the same thing. They have different embryos, different placenta, different amniotic sac. Just that in non-identical, they have the same DNA. The fraternal may or may not, because a different partner may be involved. But when you come to identical twins, the one we call monozygotic twins, because the other two are called dizygotic. The monozygotic twins are called the identical twins. Now, these identical twins are as a result of one fertilized egg. A sperm meets an egg, fertilize, and form what we call a fertilized egg or zygote. Now, this zygote splits and form what we call embryo. Now, because of the nature of the conception, a monozygotic individual has the same DNA. One, they share the same placenta. They share the same amniotic sac. In fact, they are one human being, and they are genetically 100%. They always look alike, phenotypically, and of note, of worthy to know, they are either 2 males or 2 females.
Okay.
You can't see a monozygotic or identical twin being a male or female. They are always the same, because they are a product of divided zygotes. A zygote is formed, split into an embryo, which is one person. But then, please, very important to the audience, a monozygotic individual, which is an identical, at the time of splitting from embryo, they could have the same placenta or different placenta. Please note.
Okay.
I told you they always have the same placenta, the same amniotic sac. But modern medicine have now proven to us that at the point of split to form the embryo, there could be dichromatic, which is 2 placenta, or monodichromatic, which is 1 placenta. There could also be what we call, you can also have 1 placenta, 2 amniotic sac. They can also have 2 placenta, 1 amniotic sac, or 2 amniotic sac, 1 placenta, or 1 placenta, or 1 amniotic sac, depending on the time of splitting of the embryo. But most times, it is 1 placenta, 1 embryo. And because of that nature, they are 100% genetically combined. 100%.
100%.
One person, they may grow individually. And please also know that they always look alike. The only thing that can make them not look alike at times is, 1, lifestyle changes, environmental factors, and presence of certain diseases. Most times they grow the same, phenotypically the same size and everything, because they are one individual.
Okay, Dr. Ugo, just for our listening, pleasure and for better education, are there other sexual casualties you may want to, because this is your area, that you may want other people to know before we then go into your advice or counsel?
Okay.
How to...
Yes, there are a whole lot of sexual casualties, ranging from what you asked me earlier, things like syndromes. We have the Turner syndromes, we have the Down syndromes, we have the Klippel syndromes, which, to the outside man, layman, they call them imbeciles. Now, each of them are arising due to what we call chromosomal abnormalities or aberrations. Because during splits of the embryo, there's a stage, or they call it the DNA stage, where there's either a complete DNA splitting or incomplete. Let me explain further. Naturally, an X and X coming together will form a baby girl, XX. And X and Y will form a baby boy, XY. But sometimes, due to what we call disconjunction or incompleteness, or what we call chromosomal aberrations or abnormality, the X, especially during the telophase of the meiotic division of the cell division, the X is not divided completely.
Sorry, please. During the telophase of, can you come down a little?
What?
So that our audience should, sincerely, I know that our audience, we are talking to a medical doctor actually.
What I'm trying to say is
the telophase and not
what I'm trying to say is that, sorry about that.
No, you don't have to sorry about, just help us to
a whole lot happens,
join you with.
A whole lot happens when a fertilized egg, which is called a zygote, splits into the embryo. Embryo is just a cell that is divided into balls of cells, either in arithmetic progression or in geometric progression. Eventually have millions of cells. Now, during such division, the DNA also divided. That's why you see sometimes the eye resembles the father, the nose is like the mother, the head is big like HO, the head of the department, the legs are thin, you have sweet lips, some have conjoined lips. These are the functions of the DNAs. Now, when these DNAs are not, during the division of this DNA phase, we'll have the S phase and the DNA phase. It is at the telophase phase of the meiotic division of the cell division. Now, the DNAs may not divide completely. They may divide partially. And when they divide partially, instead of having X coming out to meet the Y, you have X attaching to X through what we call the centromere, and attaching to Y, you now have XXY. You have XYY. You have XYX. These are chromosomal aberrations or abnormalities. Eventually, what is being formed are either the Turner syndrome, the Klippel syndrome, or the Down syndrome. And how do you know them? They have moon face.
Moon face, okay.
Elongated small head, slurring of speeches, and mental deformations, because the cerebral cortex is not well formed.
Sorry again, I know you're a medical doctor. Does any of these outcomes or occurrences or incidences have anything to do with spirituality? Because sometimes people say either it's the gods punching people, or it's a spiritual problem, or village people.
Let me make a point clear. There's no gods involved.
There's no gods involved.
They're giving out what is happening in situ inside you.
So it's not like God somewhere punching somebody or some family with one infirmity.
These are what I call a family pedigree most times.
Family pedigree.
And there's purely a genetic, constitution. There's incomplete DNA division. The gene is a section of the DNA. And when these genes are not transmitted fully and there's partial transmission, there's going to be a kind of chromosomal aberration, conjoined of the DNAs, meaning that the X is not attaching to Y or X is attaching to X. Rather, it's attaching to X and attaching to Y. You have XXY, XYY, or YXY. All these things are what we call chromosomal aberrations or abnormalities. And when they happen, the resultant fetus being formed has a moon face. Most times they have what we call high level of cortisol or hypercortisolism. In fact, medically we say they have Cushing disease, or have what we call Addisonian disease, Addison disease, or Addisonian disease.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ugo. Do you have any word of advice to our audience in the area of the STDs you just mentioned, syphilis, gonorrhea, its results or its effect on the offspring, lifestyle, decisions, so people can be able to, and especially the area you mentioned about fraternal twins. How can people, prevent this thing?
Taking the one after the other area of infections, one partner, one human being. I'm not an advocate of multiple sex partners because of these diseases associated with a lot of bloodlines and everything.
I hope you're listening to what the doctor is saying.
And that's for the infection aspect. For the fraternal aspects, especially when it has to do with different DNAs, different partners involving being carried in one womb, two offspring with different DNAs. I would say that especially the female folks have to be more disciplined. Knowing fully well that in the ovulatory window, they should, either they don't do, and if they have to do, let's just be on one partner. They may think, okay, I can always escape it. But nature has a way. Nature does not allow vacuum. Nature abhors vacuum. Nature has a way of bringing to you back what you have or taking. So, you understand? So by the time you meet your husband or your partner, I think after all, is my husband, you're meeting another person. Remember, you may eventually carry two nations in your womb, which are fraternal twins, sharing different DNA.
These two nations matter,
And because even the Bible is there. That's what I love. Check up adults.
Wow. Thank you very much, Dr. Ugo. You've actually made our day, and I'm certain that our audience and our followers, picked a thing or two. For me, for the very first time, I'm getting to know that a woman can actually carry two different nations in their womb. It's not only just a Bible verse, but actually a reality that a woman could actually carry two different children in their womb, and they are of different DNA, fraternal twins. Well, this is why we do what we do here on Infosynthesis, and I want to see your reactions right there in the comment section. I remain Osondo Mbono, and we hope to have Dr. again.
Yes, please, I will, because I would love to talk of prostate diseases.
Thank you, sir.
This is one of the major killer diseases in men. Before, we used to think it's the breast cancer. Now, the World Health Organization has ranked it number 1. You can't believe it, out of every 10 men walking into the teaching hospital or clinic, 8 have prostate, and some will be diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Thank you, Doc. We will definitely have you again on the next episode. See you.